reminds me of a story. Yeah, how's this? Okay, I'll just do this. Okay, hi. Okay, so, all right, so this just reminds me of like my parents and how they're really weird. So my dad, my dad is a stoic Asian man. He's a man of very little words. He rather watch TV than talk to me. But that's how we bond, you know. I think currently, we used to watch The Good Wife together. I think right now, what are we watching right now? What's good right now? Anyways, well, I'll get back to that. But my mom she's a really irrational Asian woman. She drives with 2 feet because she's always scared. So she always has to have that 1 foot on the brake, you know, because you never know, like something might pop out. And they're both immigrants from Vietnam, and they're both super, super weird. Because, see, I was born in America, and I'm not super weird, okay? I grew up loving Full House because, like, to me, Full House was a really cohesive family where they talk things out, and you know, they had names like regular names like Stephanie or DJ or Michelle. I was named T, and I hated my name T. Oh my God. Like, when I was little, I really wanted to be that, right? Be the American dream, be a white person. And I really tried to assimilate with like school. And but it was really hard to assimilate when my name was spelled Thi, and it's supposed to be pronounced T, but then the substitute calls me Thigh, and then all the kids laugh at me. And like, you know, it's even harder when like I have to bring like a banh mi sandwich and the kids are like, what the F is that? And I was just like, I don't know. It's close to a Lunchables, you know, like it's kind of like a sandwich. But okay, look, I was really encouraged by Full House because the kids had a say, right? If they had a problem, they had the guts and the courage to talk it out with their parents. So, all right, you know what? I can do that too. I'm gonna bring this problem up to my parents and we're gonna resolve it together, talking it out. And perhaps maybe change my name to like Jennifer, because there was like 3 other Jennifers in my class. I was like, yes, like I can totally fit in. And I brought this up to my parents, and they said I was being super disrespectful and I was being dumb. And I realized, oh my God, it's because of them that I can't belong. They are the ones that gave me this weird ass name. Oh my God, their weirdness is rubbing off of me, so I need to separate myself from them. And so I grew up not getting close to them because I didn't want to become like them. I didn't want to become a fob, a fresh off the boat. So fast forward to college, and you realize that to stand out is actually to be different. And what actually was going on, a lot of people were traveling, and I had a lot of friends living it up in Vietnam. So I was like, all right, cool. You know what? I want to travel, and in Vietnam, I'm a millionaire, right? Like, I make it rain. And I had friends living there, so I could have free room, free board, and eat whatever I want. And just no banh mi sandwiches. But at the same time I decided to go to Vietnam, my parents decided to go to Vietnam too. And it had been 30 years since they had been back. And look, I'm not close to them, but I don't hate them. And I thought this was an opportunity. I was like, okay, I can actually, like, if we're going at the same time, maybe I can hang out with them, meet some family, have more free room, free board, free food. So it was set. So we're there in Vietnam, and I'm the excited American, like, oh my God, let's go to a museum, let's do something, let's learn some history. My dad is a war veteran, says, no, that's all propaganda. And I was like, all right, fine. Okay, let's go eat something, you know, let's try different, you know, flavors. And my mom, who's scared of everything, says, no, you'll get diarrhea, I brought ramen. Like, I don't want instant ramen. Like, I was like, okay, fine, what do you guys want to do? And my dad said, well, I can take you to see where I used to work. It's at this like Navy shipyard. And I was like, okay, sure, why not? My mom decides to go shopping, so it's just me and my dad. And I'm surprised that he remembers exactly how to get there. You just follow the Saigon River. So it's just me and my dad, and we're hanging out, and he says, like, it's right here, it's right next to the zoo. And so we get to the shipyard. I don't see a zoo, but I see the shipyard, and it's a shipyard. It's really nothing, like, I don't know what that really entails, but it's just like, a big lot and there's stuff around. Anyway, so I was like, okay, cool, Dad. You said it was next to the zoo. Let's go to the zoo. How about that? And he was just like, yeah, it's next to the zoo, but I don't see the zoo either. It's supposed to be right here. And I was like, well, I mean, a lot's changed in 30 years. No big deal. And he's like, yeah, I guess. So I was like, all right, Dad, you know what? I'm going to hang out with my friends. I'll see you and Mom tomorrow for breakfast, 10:30. Okay, I'll meet you at your hotel, all right? And he's like, all right, cool. So the next day, I'm running late. And I text my dad, and I'm like, hey, running late. I'll be there in half an hour. And I get there. I call them to come down so we can have breakfast, and they're not picking up. They haven't answered. It's about like 11 o'clock right now, and usually they're up by now, and they usually are really good with their phones, so I don't know what to do. I go to the front desk, and I ask, like, hey, what's going on? Like, it has room 202 come down, and they're like, no, they're actually still up there. I was like, what the heck? And I don't know, I'm just waiting because I just don't know. I'd rather have them come down so that we can just go straight to breakfast because I'm hungry. And then finally, after like maybe 15 minutes, my dad calls me and says, you can come up now. And I'm like, all right, why come up? Why don't you guys just come down? Let's go eat breakfast. And he's like, no, come on up. I was like, all right. So we go upstairs. I go upstairs and I open the door and it's so tense. And I don't know what's going on. And my dad and my mom starts apologizing to me. They're like, we're so sorry. We can't really make it to breakfast. We're really tired. We didn't sleep last night. And I was like, what? What's going on? And then they sit down and tell me. And so what happened was after me and my dad separated, my dad went back to his hotel. Really just what's going on, right? And he all of a sudden at the hotel, he realized that he had remembered it incorrectly. That something like just the zoo is there. The zoo is right next to the shipyard. But the shipyard's a huge campus, and the zoo was on the other side. That's why you couldn't see it. That's why we didn't even notice it, right? He had brought me onto the other side of the campus, and that minute detail really, really bothered him to the point that he wanted to go home. It made him really uncomfortable, and all these bad memories of the war came up. And so he's telling, so my mom comes back from shopping and my dad is adamant. He's like, I want to go home. And my mom's like, what are you talking about? We just got here. And he's like, I don't care. I want to go home. Well, our flight isn't until next week. Can't you just wait a week? He's like, I don't care. I want to go home. But we have people to see. I don't care. I want to go home. If you don't want to come with me, I'm going to leave you. And my mom's like, you can't leave me here. It's weird. And then as they're sharing this with me, I realized oh my God, they feel like they don't belong too. A feeling that I had once felt a long time ago. But what really shook me and what really touched me too was that before when I was younger, we would never talk. We're an Asian family and we just eat Asian food and just sit at the table, But now that I'm a grown up and they were sharing their vulnerability with me, it just really touched me because now they're comfortable with me. We're kind of equals, and it reminded me of Full House. Oh my God, I have a say. We're Full House all of a sudden. And so I was yes, we talk our problems out. But eventually we resolved it. We went out for ice cream, and to this day, I really cherish that moment because that was when we closed that gap between our relationship. And now I do hang out a lot more with my dad. Actually, we watch Survivor because it's a Vietnam War where I'm an actor, so I'm always like, Dad, oh my God, if it was extreme conditions, which could you live in? Maybe the desert or the forest. Which one would you imagine? And he was like, why imagine it? I lived it. And I was like, okay. And then with my mom, I hang out with her too, but I do the driving. So thank you.